Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you a different face routine that I do when I really want my makeup to last, when I really want it to look super duper long wearing. This is what I do. So I've actually been learning this technique and I'm still definitely testing it out because I need to find what works for me. But I've been doing the technique that Scott Barnes does where he does highlighting and contouring underneath the foundation. So I've been doing it recently and I actually really love the way that it looks. So I wanted to just share what I do with you guys. I find that my skin looks really beautiful, and even though it looks like I have a lot of product on my face, it doesn't feel like I have a lot of product on my face, which is what I like. So for this type of makeup look, what I normally do is I never apply primer. I just feel like when I apply primer, I don't really have as much as like a smooth base. So what I like doing is I like washing my face and I throw on my moisturizer, my daily moisturizer. I use the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Moisturizer. Not the one with SPF, the other one. And I like to apply it to my skin 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes max before I'm about to do my makeup. Usually I do my eyes first, so I'll apply my moisturizer and then I do my eyes. So it has time to like seep into my skin. But I just find that with a moisturizer, I have much more of like a smoother canvas and it's nice and moisturized and it doesn't look dry and everything like that. So that's why I choose to use moisturizer and not a primer. I mean, to each their own. Use whatever you want. Do whatever you want to do. But I literally always apply my brows first. I never apply foundation and then brows. I just don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way that it feels. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna go ahead and just jump right into it. If you guys have watched any of Tati's videos with Scott Barnes, you guys have seen him do this technique a few times. I've been really liking it. I've been liking the way that my skin looks. I've been trying to mimic his technique. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The first product I'm going to go in with, I'm actually going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape first. And what I'm going to do is just apply it underneath the eyes like this, around the nose, straight down the edge of my nose, and then start bringing it up. I like going around my nose too. And then I just take it on the chin. I know it looks like a lot, but don't worry. Now I'm going to go in. So what I like to personally do first is I like to just start blending it out. So I actually take a foundation brush. This is just a regular makeup designer makeup brush. And I just like to pat it out. So I get a lot of the product in my skin. So I get a lot of product, you know, there. And I don't wipe away any of the product. And what I like to do is I'm literally just doing patting motions. And then once I get to the edges to buff them out, I like to just kind of sweep it up. And then underneath the eyes, we're just going to go in pat. To be honest, I don't like applying foundations with a brush. It's just not my preferred way. Recently, I mean, it just depends on the brush. It depends on the hairs. It depends on the foundation that I'm using itself. Like, there are a lot of things that go into me using a foundation brush. Don't worry, I have a damp sponge next to me because I have to go in with a sponge no matter what. It's just literally in my nature. Whenever I do this technique, I always have setting spray handy. Right now I have the Too Faced Hangover RX setting spray, but I also have the Skindinavia one. So now I'm going to take my Milk Makeup Bronzer. This is the Matte Baked Bronzer, the matte bronzer in the shade Baked. And what I want to do is I just apply it like this. So I'm initially applying it with the applicator, and then I'm going to go ahead and swirl my brush into the product and start dragging it down on my jawline. This bronzer legit smells like Play-Doh. And then I'm just going to like start bringing this up a little bit, the contour, I'm just going to bring it up a little bit like this. I'm just like diffusing the edges just a little bit. I'm not going to go ahead and blend it out fully because we're going to go in with foundation next. I may have applied too much on my forehead, but that's the beauty of applying this first and then going in with foundation. It just looks so good. And I'm just literally, small motions, I'm literally flicking this up. Before I go in with foundation, I'm going to grab a brush. I'm going to grab my Luxie 207 angled brush. This is what I like to use for nose contouring. And I'm just going to pick this up. And I like that it's angled because I take the angled shape and I start like, I literally go from my brow, I go in this little corner and I just go down like that. That's just how I've been contouring lately. So I just take it at the end of my brow and I bring it down. And then when I go back up, what I like to do is I just like to diffuse this area into the front of my brow. Don't worry, I go in with a little bit more pencil. Don't come for me and be like, well, that's why you should do your brows first. I don't want to do my brows first. I don't like doing my brows first. I don't like it. I don't like the feeling of foundation in my brows. I don't like it. What I'm doing now is once there's no more product left on my brush, or if you feel like you have a lot, just like scratch it off. And instead of blending it this way, I'm bringing it this way and I'm starting to buff it towards the center. And I know it sounds weird, but just start buffing it towards the center. Don't worry, after we put foundation on, I'm going to go in with a little bit more concealer. Before I put foundation, I always like spraying my face. I'm going to go in with what I have left of my Too Faced, just to make sure like my skin is moisturized and like still wet. Going in with the Anastasia Luminous foundation. I've been liking this foundation again. I'm going in with the shade 150. I'm taking a majority, like 2 pumps of it, and then I'm going to just take a little bit of 250 Cool, like literally the smallest pump, just because I like the undertone of it. It's a little bit more goldeny, which I like, so I just mix it on the back of my hand. And then what I like to do is I like to take this Luxie brush. It's actually a stippling brush. It's actually dual fiber powder, but I've been using it for foundation. It's the 516, and what I like to do is I like to just make my brush all nice and soaked with the product. And I just start going around. Don't be scared to like stipple on top of the bronzer too, because that's going to really help blend it together and make it look seamless. And I drag a lot down my neck. Like this isn't enough for my neck too. I only put enough for my face. Once I'm done with the brush, I like going in with my Beauty Blender now, just to get rid of any brush strokes that I don't want. And just to help smooth everything out. So sometimes I take a little bit more foundation on my Beauty Blender and I just start going around it. Now I'm just going to go back in with the same brush that I had the bronzer on, and I'm just going to go ahead and start blending this up. But when I blend, I like to push and flick up instead of like drag and move around, because I don't want to pick up any of that foundation. But I just feel like doing this really brings it out. And sometimes I'll even go back in with the big bronzer and just go across my jawline a little bit. I am going to go in with a little bit more concealer. Don't get worried. I just grab a little bit more Tarte Shape Tape and I throw it right here. A little bit more of a brightening effect. I'm going to go in with this e.l.f. Camo Concealer. I've never used this before actually, so this could go way wrong, but it's a pretty light color. I'm just going to put it right underneath for brightening. That's it, as I applied my 14th layer of product. I know that the e.l.f. just actually came out with a hydrating concealer as well, so I want to get my hands on that one too. But since that one's lighter, I wanted a little bit of a bright under eye. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to pop on a little bit of concealer right in the inner corner of my eye, just because there's some darkness there, and a little bit down here, just to kind of prime my eyes, because I'm going to go off camera and do my eyeshadow. So we're just going to go ahead and just blend this out. Okay, for powder, I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of my, wow, my under eyes look super bright on camera. It's okay, it's going to go down. I'm going to take my Hourglass Veil Translucent Powder, and I'm going to load my brush up with it so it's nice and ready. So I just take some in the cap and I just load my brush up with it. Blend out all the creasing. But notice how I only put that under here and then down here. What I'm going to do next is I've been mixing these two powders together, and I feel like it looks so nice on my skin. So I'm going to take the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in the shade 1 Fair, and the Hourglass Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder in the shade Euphoric Strobe Light. Literally looks like this. It's kind of like their ambient light powders, but they're really, really nice. And what Scott Barnes does, like in his video, is he uses his powders that they already have like I don't want to use the word shimmer, but they do have some sheen in them, and I don't have that kind of powder, so I've been mixing these two. I literally just start mixing it like this. They're amazing, and it's amazing. So I just go ahead and set this. Use this to set everywhere. I even go underneath my eyes with it. So I'm gonna go in with more bronzer now. I know it seems excessive, but like when I know I'm gonna be out all day and I'm not gonna be able to like touch my makeup, and I need my makeup to last, this is pretty much what I do. I just like layering products. I'm taking a big brush initially, and I'm just going to bronze the face. It's much more different than contouring, because I'm gonna use this big ass brush to bronze my face. I noticed that the more concentrated you put a bronzer, the more sunken in your face looks, which obviously makes sense because, you know, you're trying to make your face look slimmer, and like people's faces that look slimmer also look sunken in. And this just makes you look a little bit more tan. So I'm literally just taking bronzer. I'm using the Marc Jacobs bronzer. I need to stop putting bronzer on my forehead because it's a little bit too bronzed. So I'm pretty sure this eye look will be up before this video. So if it is, I'll leave a hand or card for you. My eyes are on, and we're gonna go ahead and finish the rest of the face. So we did apply bronzer. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some setting spray to my face, just to, like, you know, moisten it up a little bit. I really like taking setting spray and setting each individual layer. I just feel like it does something. It might not necessarily do something, but it does. So I'm actually going to grab this Scott Barnes blush palette. It's so freaking good. I mentioned this in my favorites video. It is just so good. I absolutely love it. It's a more recent love of mine, but I cannot stop using it. So for this look, I think I'm going to mix together Strike a Pose and Rosé. I just love them together. And I just take a little bit and I wipe it on my hand. And I like layering this. So what we're going to do, we're just going to... I try not to bring it as far up. What I like doing is I like just going on the apples of my cheeks. And then we're going to, instead of going this way, we're going to pull that way. So we're going to pull towards the ear. And it just looks so beautiful. I thought I would keep in the pink tones because I just used Amrezy's new palette with ABH. So I thought I would keep in the nude pink tones. Live for blush, actually, that's super intense. I gotta dial that back a little bit. What I like doing is I like going back in with the Charlotte Tilbury and the Hourglass powders And what I like doing is I like softening the edges of everything right here. So they kind of just like marry each other and it just looks blended. For this part, I usually use a little bit more of the Hourglass powder than I do of the other one. But can you see how that just kind of like really made it a little bit more subtle? So for highlighter, I'm going to go in with the Jaclyn Hill palette. I love this palette. I really do. I think it's really beautiful. So this is the Flash palette. And what I pretty much do is I mix all of them together. I pretty much mix Iced and Sparks for the majority. And I lightly go like this. That's it. So I'll do it one more time. I lightly hit it. Just like that. So then I go ahead and just highlight like normal, but I'm going to wait for the nose because they're going to have to go back and contour the nose. So I just go on my brow, on my forehead, like that. And then I'm not going to add any more product to this brush because this is the brush that I've been using to apply the Charlotte Tilbury and Hourglass concoction. This is the Anastasia A22 brush. I love this brush. It already has product on it. So what I'm just going to do is just smooth out the edges of everything that we added. You know, it just kind of like helps smooth everything, makes it look really nice. And then we're just going to go ahead and spray the face. Okay. Quickly, I'm going back to my schnoz. We're going to go back in with the Marc Jacobs powder. And I'm going to take this guy right here. No, I'm not. Where's my Luxie brush? I'm going to go back in with my Luxie brush and I'm just going to take it. And we're just going to go ahead and just redefine the lines. You can see them, but I would like a little bit more of a structured nose. So I'm just bringing this down like this. And instead of blending it that way, I'm blending it towards the center. And just a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury on my beauty blender. And I just kind of drag this right in the middle like this, like that. That is pretty much it. That's been my go-to face routine whenever, maybe I should put a lip on. Okay guys, so that completes my new face routine. It's not my face routine that I do every single time I'm going out. It's not a face routine that I do every single time I go out. That would literally be insane if I did this every time I went out. It's only when I have like events. So like if I have a wedding to go to, I do my makeup like this. Recently, I did my makeup like this for my birthday, so it would last, so it would stay good, like throughout drinking and partying and dancing and like sweating and everything like that. I did it like this. I just feel like it looks so good. And like, I will zoom you guys in. I feel like my skin does not look cakey. I mean, you guys might be like, Mish, you got too much makeup on your skin. But to me, like, my skin is dry, so I know what my skin looks like. Dry, but still good, and hella cakey and dry. Like, I can tell the difference. But I just think it looks so good, and like, it looks fresh, and everything's nice and blended. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned some cool tricks. Follow Scott Barnes because honestly, he's got such good freaking makeup tricks, and I'm still trying to get the hang of it. I'm still trying to get the feel of like what products are good or not to do the whole highlighting and contouring underneath the foundation. And then especially with foundations, I find that like a thicker foundation doesn't look as good as like a more liquidy one, which makes sense. But I need to keep playing with it, you know, because he also cream contours with a cream foundation. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Let you guys know in like a month or two what tips and tricks, what else I've learned from, you know, like celebrity makeup artists. Because I've seen Makeup by Mario work as well, and I've been following now Scott Barnes for quite some time now, and I just feel like their tricks are coming to but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye.